A small island on the map, just 36,000 square kilometers, tugs at the forces for two of the world's major powers.
Taiwan.
The most dangerous and unstable flashpoints.
The Trump administration has announced a major $10 billion arms sale to Taiwan.
我要感谢美国政府，
美方以武助毒，只会引火烧身。福建舰首次穿越台湾海峡。
A conflict here could upend the world, breaking chip supplies and blocking major shipping lanes.
Now, there's some things the Taiwanese cannot do and will not be permitted to do, should not be permitted to do.
Don't believe the U.S. can save you.
No one can achieve separatism of Taiwan.
To really understand today's tension in the Taiwan Strait, we need to go back to a UN resolution adopted in 1971.
You've probably seen this photo, but you might not know how it reshaped China's place in the UN and in the post-war world.
Then a meeting on October in the United Nations.
It was the 25th of October 1971 at the 26th UN General Assembly. A crucial vote on the People's Republic of China's legitimate rights was underway.
Guinea, yes. Honduras, yes. Norway, yes. Pakistan, yes. United States, no. Upper Volta.
The voting is as follows: in favor 76, opposed 35, abstention 70. Adopted.
This is actual footage from the day Resolution 2758 got passed.
The General Assembly witnessed what it had never witnessed before, which was celebration and dancing in the General Assembly Hall by the friends of China. They were jubilant. There was applause for many, many minutes in the General Assembly Hall. We were all very overjoyed with the results. This was a historic occasion. The legitimate rights of the People's Republic of China were restored after 22 years. They had been blocked, represented so far by a regime which was not in power, which did not represent the people of China.
The international community made it clear the government of the People's Republic of China is the sole legitimate government that represents China.
In the language of the resolution that was adopted. And it was very carefully put that the expulsion was of the representatives of the Chiang Kai-shek regime.
But the road to that historic moment was anything but easy. The US and its allies tried hard to block the resolution.
And I have repeatedly sought to make clear the conviction of the United States that the General Assembly should not expel the Republic of China.
But support from Asia, Africa, and Latin America carried the vote.
Taiwan is a part of China, and that is what was adopted by the United Nations, the legal department of the United Nations. On many occasions, all the documents, or whenever there is a reference to Taiwan, province of China. Province of China.
25号决议案是美国心中的一根刺。当年的话呢，为了阻止中华人民共和国重返联合国、恢复合法席位，美国可以说是用尽了心机。对于美国而言呢，这是在国际上是大为丢脸的一件事情。
In November 1971, the Chinese delegation attended the UN General Assembly for the first time. This iconic laugh belongs to Qiao Guanhua, then China's Vice Foreign Minister. It symbolizes a new reality in international representation.
Knowing of President Nixon's expressed desire to visit the People's Republic of China.
今天，美国总统尼克松应我国政府的邀请，前来中国访问，到达北京。
In Memoirs of Richard Nixon, he wrote that when he shook hands with Chinese Premier Zhou Enlai, one era ended and another began. That handshake across the Pacific ended more than 2 decades of estrangement between China and the US.
This was the week that changed the world. To build a bridge across 16,000 miles and 22 years of hostility which have divided us in the past.
Yet on the Taiwan question, China and the US were not on the same page.
In this conversation, they became to understand the US and China had irreconcilable differences in views. Well, okay, if we can't resolve the differences, we should fight about it. They thought that was not the right answer. How about we find a way to manage a situation, even though we don't know exactly what the solution will turn out to be. And even if we don't know how to, so how did that work out? So-called strategic ambiguity.
It would take another 7 years. On January 1st, 1979, China and the US officially established diplomatic relations.
The United States of America and the People's Republic of China have agreed to recognize each other and to establish diplomatic relations. The United States recognizes the government of the People's Republic of China as a sole legal government of China.
Washington has made a clear commitment, and there is but one China, and Taiwan is part of China.
With rising tensions over US arms sales to Taiwan, a new communique was signed on August 17, 1982, setting limits on those sales.
From the 1972 Shanghai Communique to the 1979 Joint Communique on the Establishment of Diplomatic Relations, and then August 17th Communique in 1982. These 3 joint communiques laid the foundation for China-US relations and defined the basic principles governing the Taiwan question.
However, behind the scenes, something else was taking shape.
In 1979, the US Congress quietly passed the Taiwan Relations Act. The act reads like this: the President and the Congress shall determine the nature and quantity of such defense articles and services based solely upon their judgments of the needs of Taiwan. Washington used this act as a legal cover to keep selling weapons to Taiwan, and it still does today.
我们如果仔细地看一下《与台湾关系法》的全文，我们可以看出来，它基本上就是通过一种立法的形式，把两岸定位成了2个国家。在他们正式的文本中，明确指称台湾当局，所谓台湾 authority，其实是等同于所有的外国国家或者政府，这都是直接违反了就是中美建交的基本原则，与此同时也是在对一个中国原则或者说是国际法的一种挑战。美国一开始讲的话是遵从中美的3个联合公报以及《与台湾关系法》作为美国所谓一个中国政策的基石，但是慢慢后来我们会发现，他又加上了6项保证。里根总统对台湾当局秘密做出的这种私下保证，核心其实有台湾地位未定论。后来到了特朗普时期，美国又是公然的调整了顺序，把《与台湾关系法》放在了中美3个联合公报之前，然后再加上后边一个6项保证。这些年来，美国其实已经基本上把3个联合公报里边的绝大部分内容已经完全置之脑后。他所遵从的其实就是《与台湾关系法》中所确立的实质，就是一中一台政策或者2个中国政策，这个迹象是越来越明显了。
For half a century, the US has walked a tightrope, recognizing one China principle in word while hollowing it out in practice.
So here is what we found when we dug into the congressional records. Since 1979, US lawmakers have introduced 479 bills with Taiwan right in the title. From 2017 onward, it entered a period of explosive growth, with 183 Taiwan-related bills introduced, compared with just 45 between 2009 and 2016. It's not just that there are more bills, the types of bills are expanding too.
In 2018, the Taiwan Travel Act encouraged high-level visit exchange between the United States and Taiwan. In 2019, the Taiwan Assurance Act went further by institutionalizing U.S. arms sales to Taiwan. In 2023, the Taiwan International Solidarity Act took an even more radical step, explicitly denying the applicability of Resolution 2758. Taken together, these acts show a clear escalation, a shift from tactical support to strategic confrontation, with the explicit goal of undermining the legal authority of Resolution 2758.
So, who is driving this legislative wave?
A small group of recurring political figures has consistently driven major Taiwan-related legislation in Washington. Marco Rubio, Michael McCaul, Andy Barr, Brian Mast.
I rise in support of the Taiwan Assurance Act.
Taiwan Conflict Deterrence Act.
Bill introduced to deepen and expand U.S.-Taiwan relations.
Since 2017, Republican lawmakers have introduced 245 Taiwan-related bills, far more than the Democrats' 73. And the spike began right after Donald Trump took office.
这些国会议员看到特朗普政府对中国采取了各种各样的这个打压措施，他们当然也是认为，这是一个好的时机，时代变了，环境变了，更多的亲台的法案出台。一方面的话是可以博取政治眼球，赚取个人的政治资本；另一方面的话呢，他会认为我这是可以得到行政部门、白宫的这种支持和认可，甚至是两方一个扮红脸一个扮白脸的这么一个角色。
By passing these laws, Washington manufactures the legal basis for its long-term involvement in Taiwan affairs.
Beyond Capitol Hill, think tanks like the German Marshall Fund and the Heritage Foundation churn out different reports but recycle the same talking points. Taiwan's status is undetermined, dual representation, and the tired frame of democracy versus authoritarianism.
By branding Taiwan a strategic asset
and amplifying claims of rising threats, think tanks reinforce U.S. legislative acts and pressure lawmakers to do more.
We asked about Taiwan sort of as a throwaway question, and he basically came out and said, what has Taiwan done for us? You know, we have been Taiwan's insurance policy for years. They stole our chips business. I'm just not sure it makes sense for us to, keep defending them when China wants them so badly.
今年底将提出国防特别预算，明年度我们的国防预算将超过 GDP 3%。
These laws and think tank narratives ultimately translate into policy, most visibly through the steady expansion of U.S. arms sales, binding Taiwan ever more tightly into Washington's defense architecture. On December 17, Washington unveiled a new arms package for Taiwan worth roughly $11.1 billion, the largest single arms sale to Taiwan in U.S. history. For comparison, during Donald Trump's entire first term, U.S. arms sales to Taiwan added up to $18.3 billion, a record at the time, but spread across multiple deals over 4 years. What once took years is now being delivered in a single transaction.
That means Taiwan will pay an even higher price for Washington's security umbrella.
The United States should not interfere in these peaceful relations by sending armaments to Taiwan. This is a mistake for Taiwan, and it's a mistake for the United States because it could provoke very dangerous follow-ons.
So on the Taiwan question, Washington runs a well-oiled machine. Congress writes the mandate, think tanks craft the narrative, arms sales log in the outcome. It is a coordinated circle, one that has shaped the U.S. policy on Taiwan for decades. The logic is blunt. America won't declare there are two Chinas, but it wants the world to act as if there were, and to accept the ambiguity that gives Washington room to maneuver.
There is certainly a kind of contradiction because it is very easy for them to talk about one China, because this is just a basket, right? You can throw in everything. No matter what they do, no matter how they would sell arms to Taiwanese authority, they would always say that they are maintaining one China policy, and Biden got 4 times, and his aides would still walk back and say, oh, we're still upholding one China policy. Yeah, it's changing, yeah, in terms of what they have done. But I think it won't matter that much for us because our strength is growing.
If a war were to really break out in the Taiwan Strait, where would the U.S. send troops?
It's precisely what they have described as strategic ambiguity.
What should Chinese
President Xi know about your commitment to Taiwan?
We agree with what we signed on to, and that there's a one China policy, and we're not encouraging their being independent.
The United States would come to Taiwan's defense?
Yes.
Are you willing to get involved militarily to defend Taiwan?
Yes, that's the commitment we made.
The White House quickly tried to clean up the president's remarks on Taiwan, insisting it's not changing its long-standing policy.
台海发生冲突，美国将面临一个非常尴尬和难堪的一个境地，就你介入吗？介入了，你就要跟中国人民解放军直面对决，那是两个核大国之间的这个冲突。但是你如果不介入呢，你的什么对盟友伙伴的这种安全承诺也就自然而然破产了。
The U.S. should give up the idea of hegemony. Of course, the U.S. shouldn't run the world. This is absurd. Of course, the U.S. can't run the world, but it should cooperate with the rest of the world. And if the U.S. could get that mindset in place, we'll have a much more secure and prosperous world.
For decades, Taiwan has sat at the center of the first island chain in U.S. strategy, a strategic lever to contain China. Yet Washington has deliberately kept its response to a potential war vague.
第一岛链嘛，其实就是在美国冷战期间，是当时为了遏制苏联和中国，沿阿拉斯加，然后阿留申群岛，经日本列岛，再到冲绳，然后台湾、菲律宾这一条线，就所谓的就西太平洋第一岛链防御体系。
The latest U.S. national security strategy reinforces, if not deepens, that ambiguity. For many experts, this creates space for transactional trade-offs, leaving more room for bargaining under the Trump administration.
If China invades Taiwan on your watch, are you committed to defending Taiwan?
I never say. I have to negotiate things, right?
I'm meeting with President Xi. We have a very good relationship. I think we'll be just fine with China. China doesn't want to do that.
The Trump administration has announced a major $10 billion arms sale to Taiwan.
I can't give away my secrets. You'll find out if it happens.
There is no country in the world which can ever recognize both PRC on the one hand and ROC on the other hand. Why? Because it's against the megatrend. It's in violation of the One China policy. Do you think President Trump is not wise enough to see through the folly of supporting Taiwan separatism? No. I think President Trump is smart enough to reach the right conclusion. Don't play with fire as far as Taiwan separatism is concerned, and he will not shed the blood of any American soldier or officer for the so-called separatism of Taiwan.
There are some advisors around Trump who would be very, very pro-Taiwan. The president himself, not so sure. At times he suggested that he sees Taiwan's fate as basically to return to China. And there are other things he's done, like William Lai tried to stop over in America. He wasn't allowed to, and the Taiwanese were a bit alarmed about it. So they're a bit uncertain about where Trump is taking this.
特朗普现在看起来应该说是还在台湾问题上有所克制。那么其实一个很重要的原因，那的确是特朗普现在他的核心关切是解决中美贸易争端，来促进美国的制造业回流，让美国经济复兴。特朗普也很清楚，如果他在台湾问题上去发起重大挑衅的话，那中美贸易谈判就不要谈了，中国根本就不会跟你谈，也根本不可能谈出任何结果来。这点其实特朗普我觉得他账算得还是蛮清楚的。
American support for Taiwan has never been about defending democracy.
It's been about money and power, billions in arms sales, the forced relocation of TSMC, and turning Taiwan into a frontline outpost.
If there was a grand bargain between America and China, it would have to involve all sorts of things. Trade, and Taiwan might be part of it.
To Washington, Taiwan has always been expendable, a pawn for its Asia-Pacific agenda.
But what does Taiwan really get out of this?
It may give a few independence forces the comfort of their illusions, but for everyone else, it delivers only the discomfort of reality, higher security risks, mounting economic pressure, and deeper uncertainty about the future.